Hey everybody, it's Chris back with another review for the Blue Collar Beer Gourmet. If you're not familiar with this channel, I am the Blue Collar Beer Gourmet. I'm a big fan of craft beer, but I'm not a big fan of paying a lot of money for it. So the beers I review usually come in around the $2 price range. Today's selection is from an Oregon brewer with which I have a fair amount of familiarity. In fact, if you saw the last review that I did, it was the Vanilla Otis from this same brewer. Today's selection is the Brightberry Raspberry Lime Ale. Ale with raspberry and lime, as it's described here on the can, by Ninkasi Brewing Company, and they are out of Eugene, Oregon. This particular can is a 12-ounce can that cost me $1.99 and is 1 month from its best by date, so nice and fresh. None of my friends on Untapped have actually scored this beer. 570 people cumulatively on Untapped have given it a score of 3.34. Only one review on Beer Advocate gives it a 3.78, which on the Beer Advocate scale is very good. Now, here's the point of contention for this beer. Its ABV is 4.0, making it pretty much a session ale. Its IBUs are 9. I'm going to show you right there on the can. 4.0 ABV, 9 IBUs. Well, Beer Advocate refers to this beer as a goza, and I don't know about y'all, but I'm loath to believe that pretty much any goza out there has only 9 IBUs. I did go to Ninkasi's website, where Ninkasi describes it as a Northwest take on a German beer. In fact, it may say it right here, yeah. With refreshing, delicate raspberry and lime notes and just a touch of sea salt, this unfiltered wheat ale is our Northwest take on a classic European beer style. So it is described as a German wheat on their website. Um, in a situation like that, I tend to go with the brewer over Beer Advocate or any other reviewing site. Sometimes I'll notice even Untapped has a beer listed a different variety than the brewer themselves have. I say let's always go to the reviewer and see what they say. Even if you think that they've mislabeled this beer, that they've, called it the wrong thing, let's still just go with what the brewer says. That's my opinion. Um, just a little bit of insight onto this particular beer. It was released last year. It was only available in draft, though. 2019 is the first year that this beer has been available in cans. It will be available year-round now that it's out. It has Bohemian, Pilsner, white wheat, and Carpillus acidulated malts. Okay, so there you have it. It also has Santium hops. There you go. I am going to be using my wit glass for this. Another thing for those of you who are unfamiliar with my channel, I like to drink beer out of the correct glass. And this is a wit beer glass. Now, the argument has been made that wit beers are actually white beers, and that is true, but wit beers are almost always, I believe, are exclusively, in fact, wheat beers. So when it comes to wheat beers, I usually use my wit beer glass. That's my little point right there. But I do truly believe that, this beer glass came from a beer glass set that my wife got me for Christmas a few years back, and I don't think she paid more than 20 bucks, and we got a total of 5 glasses out of it. So really, it's great to use the right beer glass. If, however, you don't have the right beer glass, the standard pint glass will work for any beer. I don't give a damn what kind it is, whether it's a barley wine or a pilsner. You can pour any of those into a pint glass. Okay, so here we have this, and you are seeing a slightly more red tone on the camera than what it actually is. This is actually closer to a carrot color. I'm going to describe that as about a medium-high carbonation. Fair amount of carbonation. The head is kind of wispy. I don't think that it's going to last a whole lot longer. Um, Although I don't see a whole lot of bubbles popping on top, I really don't think this is going to last for any length of time. Uh, and it is, in fact, rather hazy. I'm not able to see through it that well. It almost looks like one of those grapefruit rattlers. But let's see what we get for the beard brush, as they call it. And I get nothing, so I'm going to put my nose directly into it. And I gotta say, what I smell more than anything is the sea salt. Little hint of lime, not really. Okay, yeah, there's the raspberry. Just needs to get a little more air to it, a little nucleation. Mostly the sea salt. I don't know if you can tell whether that's enough to show you or not, but yes, the head is in fact dissipating rather quickly. And I'm seeing just a bit of the beer through the top of this. So I'm going to dig into it and enjoy. Cheers. I'm going to describe it as a high mouth feel. The very first thing that catches the tongue is the salt, that's for sure. After that runs across the tongue for a second, what you're left with is a tart raspberry. So I'm imagining that's the lime congealing with the raspberry flavors. Yeah, raspberry is very much the predominant, a very tart raspberry. Although when you lick your lips afterwards, the salt is largely what you get. And that's not a complaint. I'm just saying that that's the case. This is, as I said, with its 4.0, it's pretty much a session ale. Um, I think it would actually make, I think this beer right here, the Brightberry, I think this is a good beer for beer cocktails. And just to let you know, I don't know how long it's going to take. I'm hoping to have it out by the end of next year. But I am actually working on a beer cocktail recipe book, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of traveling, going to places where certain beer cocktails are made, talking to the person or persons who made said beers. And I think this one is really conducive to that. It has that sweetness and that tartness, a little bit of saltiness. See, I'm thinking that this would actually go well as some sort of tequila beer cocktail. But anyway, there you have it. I think if your Budweiser loving friend is willing to try sweeter beers other than say stronger ones, go ahead and get him a can of this. And for $1.99 for a 12-ounce can, you can't hardly go wrong. I like this beer despite the fact that it's not really my kind of thing. Um, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 4.0. And that's even giving it that's still giving it the 0.25 that I normally give for canned beers. Um, so yeah, this is going to get a 4.0 from me on Untapped. So gang, if you like this video and if you like the others, please be sure to comment and like and subscribe. And until next time, drink good beer and don't break the bank doing it. Cheers.